Take a look at this design. It's so simple, yet so striking. So plain, yet so full of life at the same time. So calm, yet so rock and roll. What makes this seemingly simple design so captivating? Who designed it and why? What is this illustration depicting anyway? Hi, I'm a white man from the 70s. I just bought a house for $7 and a Wendy's gift card. Man, I hope my favorite band, the Beatles, never break up. This art piece is the album cover for The Dark Side of the Moon, an album made by Pink Floyd that was released in 1973. It is often regarded as one of the most influential rock albums of all time, and it stayed on the Billboard Top 100s list for over 14 years. Imagine how confused the cicadas must have been when they woke up 14 years later and Dark Side of the Moon was still on the Top 100s. Not only was this an influential album musically, but also visually. It kind of changed the game for album covers, so to speak. Before Dark Side of the Moon came out, album covers looked like this. Yeah, that's nerd, ain't it? A lot of albums before this were heavily photograph based and usually featured just a photo of the band on the cover and the name of the band and the name of the album. Then Dark Side of the Moon came out and kind of shook up the whole album cover industry, so to speak. This cover has no text anywhere on the front. You don't even know what this thing is until you pick it up and flip it around to the back, and then on the back it's listed the name of the band, the name of the album, and the track list. But on the front, you don't even know what this thing is. The simplicity of this album cover was unmatched at the time. The art itself depicts light refraction. This is a natural phenomenon that happens when incoming white light hits a medium other than air, in this case, a glass prism. The white light's wavelength then gets slowed down and changes direction. That separates the light into visible colors that we can see with our eyes. It is an excellent example of dramatic simplicity. It uses all of its elements perfectly. Lines are used to guide the viewer's eyes across the design and illustrate movement. The contrast between the single white line on one side of the prism and then to the explosion of color on the other side of the prism evokes excitement in the viewer. The design has a clear focal point, being the prism, and is visually balanced all around. To me, it also tells a story about how seemingly simple things can be beautiful under the correct influence. The visuals on this cover became so popular that it became the unofficial icon for Pink Floyd as a band and is referenced countless times in pop culture today. But who designed this iconic cover, you ask? Well, calm down. I'm about to tell you. The distinctive cover art was conceived by the British graphic design company Hipgnosis that was founded in the late 1960s by Storm Thorgerson and Aubrey Powell. And they had worked on Pink Floyd albums many times in the past and since then. Aubrey Powell spoke with Forbes about the cover's longevity, saying, "The Dark Side of the Moon was conceived on an afternoon when Pink Floyd asked for something very simple and very graphic, instead of one of our surrealist photo designs, which wasn't our style at all. I was reading this magazine about the refraction of light, and Storm standing next to me, and he said, 'I've got it, a triangular shape with a prism. I could illustrate quite well.' So I drew it out on a piece of paper. We then rushed to Abbey Road Studios and said to the band, 'How about that?' And they all went, 'Yeah, that's us, that's Pink Floyd.'" Artist George Hardy did the actual illustrating for the album, and he spoke about how the design was made. The design is simply a mechanical tint lay, which means we drew out outline shapes, black on white, and indicated what colors were to appear when printed. The prisms were airbrushed black on white and then reversed by the printer. The Dark Side of the Moon album cover is one of the most iconic designs in pop culture today because of its dramatic simplicity, striking contrast, and overall balanced design. It is elegant yet exciting. It has been recognizable for 50 years and will continue to be recognizable and iconic for who knows how long. Well, folks, that's all I got. I'm a white guy from the 70s. I'm gonna go buy a boat now. Bye.